Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ratna Ayu Sriwardhani. I'm from 5th semester. In here, I will presentation about the novel, and the title is Of Mice and Men. This is the book Of Mice and Men. The author is John Steinberg. Next, synopsis about Of Mice and Men. This is the synopsis. The synopsis that the little George and the much larger idiot Lenny were a couple of travelers. They have nothing in this world but themselves and dream. They dream of owning a plot of land so that they can live in peace. They also look for work on a California farm, hoping to stay there long enough and raise money together. However, Lenny, who is kind and childish, often gets into trouble. He was unable to control himself. Neither emotion nor extraordinary strength. He also became the target of other people's cruelty. When one day he got into big trouble again, namely Lenny accidentally broke Carly's hand. Besides, Carly was very surprised by the incident, but because many loved Lenny from other parties such as Slim, George, and others, suggesting Carly not to tell him. However, whoever broke his hand was Lenny. Carly followed their will even though he still could with a feeling of revenge in his heart, and they agreed that Carly's hand was broken due to a missing accident. After that, George hurried into town to take Carly with Slim and the others. Meanwhile, on the ranch, there are only Lenny, Carly, and Candy's wife. This condition is used as an opportunity for Candy to make Lenny aware of not depending on George. But this is not accepted by Lenny, so Lenny goes to the barn and he is only accompanied by a dog belonging to Slim. But in the end, the dog died from being petted by his big hands, and Lenny could only remain silent. Sometime later, Carly's wife arrived, who wanted to confide in Lenny, but because George had previously warned her not to get close to Carly's wife, cared the harlot. But because Carly's wife was so pussy and Lenny shifted her hand a little and caused the woman to scream. As a result, Lenny became angry and shoot the woman, who was swinging like a fish. And the woman became silent because Lenny had broken neck. Then Lenny picked it up and dropped it. For a moment, Lenny was very confused and he whispered in fear, and he hid in the bushes near in the river. Next, characters of novel Of Mice and Men. This is the characters. First, Lenny. This is the Lenny. Lenny, he has a dumb nature too, so depending on his best friend, George, but he is also kind and still childish. Next, George. Characteristic for George. This is the George. George, he has passion in his life and has a soul of understanding toward his friend Lenny. However, He also has a selfish nature and evidence. When Lenny gets into a very big problem, he doesn't want to get involved, so he has to kill Lenny with his own hands. Next, characteristic from Slim. This is Slim. Characteristic from Slim. In this novel, his character is not very depicted because he is only an additional character. Next, characteristic for Carly. Nah, this is Carly. Characteristic for Carly, his authoritarian nature is by bullying his own employees and being selfish and vengeful when he is angry and wants to find Lenny who has hurt his wife. Next, characteristic for Carson. This is Carson. Carson, he has a special envy especially to Carly. Next, characteristic from Carly's wife. Next. This is the Carly's wife. In the novel, she has a forceful nature. And the last characteristic from Candy. This is the Candy. His nature cares about other people, but he doesn't consider everything he does. Next, setting of time and places. This is the setting of time and places. A setting in the places when Lenny is hiding. In the barn when Lenny rocks Carly's wife. River, California ranch. And setting of time, afternoon when searching for Lenny, and the night when George tries to kill Lenny. Next, plot of the story. This is plot of the story. Plot of the story used in this novel is the forward plot. Next, strength and weakness. This is the strength and the weakness. Strength. Regarding the content of the story, it is good. It is very confused on the characters and from the novel stories. It can be seen that a very fictional life is very accordance with the characteristic of a literary work. The language used is easy to understand by readers, not scientific in nature. And the weakness, alluding to the title of the novel of Mice and Men, which means rats and human. But seeing the cover does not seem to have anything to do with the title of the novel. No picture of Mice. This is next, moral value for the novel. The moral value that we can get from the novel are respect and still give understanding to others without considering physical conditions or other conditions. And my comment of the novel, don't be selfish about what we want to say, but we must be able to consider who we advise so that we don't get into bigger problems. Still respect and understand other people's condition. Okay, I think enough. Thank you for attention, and in the next essay, Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.